Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. My briefing tonight is to inform you, my fellow Toastmasters and librarians, about the sessions I attended during the Michigan Library Association conference earlier this month in Lansing. Since I wasn't able to take you all with me, I thought I would brief you on the sessions I attended. I'll be taking questions after the presentation, so make sure to take notes and think of questions as I talk. The first conference session I attended was about why and how libraries should promote their services and programs to business people. It was given by 3 librarians from Southfield, Lansing, and the Grand Rapids area. The Southfield librarian, who happens to be a fellow Toastmaster, said business librarians should work with community organizations such as SCORE, the Michigan Small Business Development Center, and Chambers of Commerce to develop and promote services and programs. Business librarians need to also network with business people to describe the things we have to offer and to keep in touch with the people we meet. And we do have plenty of things to offer, such as databases, Dun & Bradstreet and Value Line reports, and even computer access and free Wi-Fi. We librarians, who are naturally very helpful people, need to make sure we straddle the line between being helpful to business people and doing too much for them. We need to set boundaries and make sure that we are not doing too much research for someone. There's a difference between teaching someone how to do research and doing everything, all the research for them. Remember to, and also the library is only one of the resources and for starting a business or keeping a business going. Remember to partner with the other organizations I mentioned, such as Chambers of Commerce, for starting a business, and to partner with your patrons as well. The second session I attended promoted use of the medlineplus.gov website for libraries and their library web pages. Medline.plus is a website that's sponsored by the National Institutes of Health and the U.S. National Library of Medicine. It's a huge site with information on most health conditions and health news and drug information that is accessible throughout the internet. Unlike other commercial health sites such as WebMD, it doesn't have any ads, and it's peer-reviewed by doctors and health organizations so that you get unbiased health information. And you can also get locally based health information from it as well. So they are encouraging libraries to link to it from their home sites and to use it in libraries as a source of health information. The third session I attended was by Nancy Pearl, who's a Seattle-based librarian who also gives book reviews on NPR, and she is also famous for posing for what is called the librarian action figure. Yes, there is such a thing. She gave a talk on how to give book talks. For non-librarians, a book talk is a brief talk that encourages a group of readers to basically read a book. Now, the first rule of book talks, as she described it, is not to give the plot of the book away. And she also said that book talks are best when they are brief, about 30 seconds to 2 minutes per book. And she also said that it's best that you read the book beforehand, and that that it's possible to do a book talk of a book that you've partially read or that you've only read the reviews of, but it's best to have read the book. Of course. And if you're giving a book talk presentation, to prepare book talks for about 10 to 15 books and make sure they're a theme. Like, for instance, if you're giving a book talk to a men's group, such as a Rotary group, you might want to prepare a theme of mystery novels or spy novels for your talk. And the way Ms. Pearl prepares for her book talks is she will use the covers of the books that she has read and take a structured series of notes on the covers. So this way she has them for future reference and can also make a file of them and give them to patrons as they look for information on a book that they may be looking for. And besides the presentations I went to, I also went through the exhibit hall, which was filled with publishers and library equipment vendors. My favorite exhibit, and the one that I think would be most beneficial to our library, was for self-checkout of books. The self-checkout exhibit that I mentioned, or rather visited, was for a machine that was about the size of a small computer, well, not a small, but a flat screen computer screen with a base and a small printer beside it. And it's used much as you would use a self-checkout at a grocery store or Meijer. The books that a library has with this system are tagged with radio frequency tags inside the books. And when you check them out yourself, you slide them underneath the screen and put them on the base, and they're scanned, and then after they're scanned, a receipt prints out with library information and your due dates. And the vendor told me that kids love this system. They love to be able to check out their books by themselves. And also patrons who are in line at a busy circulation desk also like it, because that way they don't have to stand in line. They can check out their books for themselves without standing in line at a busy desk. So those are the sessions and the vendors that I attended. The business information, the medlineplus.gov website presentation, the book talk presentation, and the vendors. I believe that all of those things would be beneficial to our library and its patrons, and that is what it's about, serving our patrons better. Now I'd like to take questions. Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
I'll ask you about Medline Plus.
Yes.
It is very popular in our library too.
Yes, ma'am.
Did they go over the drugs, and did they tell you about how it's very good for the common person who doesn't understand, like the PDR or other medical? What did they describe with that? I'm just curious.
Well, there wasn't.
So we could sell this to this group.
Okay, great. Good question, because they did have a live presentation of it. They did have some technical problems with the live presentation. But yes, they did go over how it does have links to most common drugs, which is a big part of Medline Plus, that you can look up just about any common prescription or even non-prescription drug with it, as long as you know the name of it. And that was part of the way to sell it. And, I'm sorry.
Plain English.
In plain English, yes.
Yes.
In plain English, or by the drug technical name too. But yes, you can look them up in plain English, or if you know the drug's scientific name.